Hi, this is Madeleine. Welcome to this new Fabricville video tutorial in which we are going to sew a dress that will be perfect for the festive season. The pattern we are going to use is the McCall's M7926. I chose this green stretch velvet for the dress and this black knit fabric for the lining. I will make sure that the pieces will all be cut in the same direction for the velvet because its color changes when it's oriented toward or in the opposite direction of the pile. To make this dress, you will need the McCall's M7926 pattern that is relevant to your size, fabrics for the dress and the lining. The amount of fabric you will need is listed on the pattern envelope, assorted threads, pins, scissors, and your sewing machine. First, I'm going to place the pattern pieces on the fabric, respecting the grain line, and I cut. I reuse the same pattern pieces to cut the lining. Before removing the pattern tissues from the fabric pieces, I transfer all the markings that will be useful to assemble the dress. First, I sew together the top edge of piece number 1 and the lower edge of piece number 2, ending the stitch at the small circle. Then I sew together the top edge of piece number 2 and the bottom edge of piece number 4 between the square and the small circle. To keep the stretch of the fabric, I use a narrow zigzag stitch. Then I press the seams open. I repeat these steps for the back pieces. Next, I stitch the front to the back at the sides with right sides together. Then I press the seams open. I will assemble the bodice lining in exactly the same manner. Now I slip the lining bodice inside the velvet bodice, right sides together, and I'm going to stitch the neck edges, the lower edges of the shoulder straps to the squares, the armhole edges, ending the stitching at the small circles. Then I will stitch the upper edge of the bodice, ending the stitching at the squares. I turn the bodice on the right side and baste the lower edges. Then I turn the seam allowance on the shoulder edges of the lining and press. Now I'm going to stitch front and back together at shoulders, keeping the lining free. Then I slip stitch the pressed edges of the lining. To make the skirt, I previously overcasted the sides of the pieces. I placed the front of the skirt on the back, right sides together, and I stitched the side seams. Then I pressed the seams open. I repeat these same steps for the skirt lining. With the wrong sides together, I pin the lining to the skirt and I baste the upper edges. Then I will attach the skirt to the bodice. I pin the bodice to the skirt, matching centers and seams, and I stitch. Then I overcast the layers together, and after I will press the seam toward the bodice. To finish, I make the hem on both the bottom of the skirt and the lining. And our dress is ready. With this pattern, I also made another combination, this time with a circle dress in this black pleated knit fabric. You will find the links to the fabrics I used in the description of the video. Enjoy sewing and thanks for watching.